This is the Altem Life Podcast.
Let's go check it out.
Welcome back to the podcast, episode 4. And we're going to be talking about Keywest.
Yeah, so a couple things real quick. One is we did that video of the top 5 restaurants recently. We were doing this setup, but I just wanted to clarify that that was not considered a podcast. So that's why this one's number 4. We will always label a podcast. That one was just talking about restaurants like we used to do in the old days. And we like this setup. We think the speakers or the mics do well. And just want to clarify that. So this is officially...
Alex is very much a
4.
By the book kind of person. So if it's not a podcast, it's not a podcast.
Yeah.
And he's going to make sure to rectify that if there's any confusion.
But this is episode 4. It's taken us a little while to get another one out.
We've tried a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it hasn't worked out. But that's okay. We're back. And like I said, we're going to be talking about Keywest. We did go down there over Christmas time. And we thought we would share some of our things that we liked, things that we didn't like. There really wasn't much we didn't like. But
tips, tricks,
experiences.
And I think there's going to be one more Keywest video left that we will show. And basically that one's just going to be like a kind of a variety of different things we filmed that weren't worthy of a full video. Like the southernmost point.
Hodgepodge, if you will.
There you go. Like the southernmost point. We filmed us going there, but it wasn't worthy of a full video by itself. So we have little videos like that we will be showing and releasing sometime, and that should be the very last video.
Cat alert. If you hear the cat, she's here with us.
Yeah.
So let's get started with kind of why we decided to go down there and how our trip planning went. I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah. You're being way too loud, Kat.
She doesn't care. So my mom's side of the family decided that they would like to spend part of our Christmas break down in Key West. So that kind of is what spurred us to go along with them. And that's where it started. And then you did a lot of the research. I know they did a lot of the research as well, as far as things that they wanted to do, and then also things that we wanted to do, based on the time that we were going to be there.
Yeah. And anytime you go anywhere near a holiday, especially Christmas, you can expect it to be kind of more busy, if you will, because that's where people are going to go for those holidays. Just even like a 3-day weekend around here in Florida, places seem a little bit more busier just because people are out and about. So going into it, we knew that Christmas would be filled with more people. But I guess the first thing I'll start with is, because I did a lot of planning for it, and that is, I've mentioned it in several videos, but definitely download the Open Table app. If you're not familiar with Open Table, a lot of restaurants these days use Open Table as a reservation system. It's actually really cool because you can go on, you can see the menu, you can read reviews, you can book reservations. Now, not all restaurants will have reservations.
Right, they're not all affiliated with Open Table.
Right.
But I think most are
Most
now.
are, yeah. And
especially in like destination type places.
Yeah. Even when we went to Savannah, a lot of them are Open Table. But download that and start planning your trip around what reservations you can get, because there were places like Latitudes, which according to Open Table was a top 100 restaurant in the United States. So we wanted to eat there, but we knew it'd be expensive. Dinner's more expensive than breakfast. But through that Open Table app, I was able to get us a breakfast reservation.
Right.
And then also you're able to look up reviews, and it sends you reminders of when your reservation is. It just helps trips go by smoother when you are able to for sure have reservations.
Pre-plan things. Yeah. And you were good about that, having it all timed out and things. I know we all appreciated that. I know that we stayed not in the downtown area. We actually stayed in the Navy Lodge.
Yeah.
portion of Key West, which was fine.
Yeah.
So we don't really have any like tips though, as far as where to stay, as far as
Yeah.
where to look and what's a good accommodation, just because we didn't stay at a hotel or anything like that.
I think we all would agree, the whole family, that there were definitely pros and cons to staying there.
Yeah.
The pro is it was very cheap, and we had, how many of us stay? 7?
Yeah.
7 people stay with us.
There were 3 bedrooms, 2
baths,
bathrooms. It was like
living room,
a duplex kind of thing.
Townhouse.
Yeah.
So totally worth it. The price can hardly be beat. I'm not going to say the price because I don't really remember what the price was, and I don't want to like mislead people. But we're fortunate that we were able to stay there.
Yeah.
But we all of us said that if we had the money, we would have loved to stay somewhere downtown. Mm-hmm. But at Christmas time, you're talking $1,000 a night.
Easily.
A night.
Yeah.
So that wasn't in the books for us. But I don't even know if there's an off season for staying down there. It might always be that expensive. Mm-hmm. But there were some nice looking places that we would all love to been in.
In a really good location as far as not having to go and drive anywhere and park and things like that. So our only recommendation is just if you can afford it, then stay somewhere that has a good location down by the downtown area. But we enjoyed our stay where we stayed. It served its purpose, and like you said, it was easy and cheap.
Yeah. You could do laundry too, which was nice. I will say something else that would be beneficial if you're able to do this, but a cruise. We saw several cruise ships there, and that will give you a place to stay, and you're right downtown. So that would be kind of worth it if you're able to take a cruise down there.
Yeah. So lodging, that was our experience with that. You had planned a lot of it looking at, must-do things. I know my mom and stepdad, they looked at must-do things as well for them. And you were able to make, not reservations, but you were able to buy tickets in advance to some of the places.
Yeah, most places you were. There were a few places that they didn't allow it, but we had no issues with walking up. And I think Hemingway didn't allow it because we bought it at the gate.
Right.
There were no issues. We got there when it opened. No issues there.
Right.
Before we start in on some of the attractions, though, and the places we visited, I did want to say, going back to the lodging and stuff, the downfall with having to drive in was parking was outrageously expensive. And
sometimes difficult to find. Yeah. We did end up finding a public parking
it was like
lot, I guess.
At their park area.
Yeah, over by the Fort Zachary Taylor.
Which was free.
Yes.
The downfall is you were about 0.6 miles away from downtown. Right. So just there and back, you're already walking over a mile.
Right.
But if you park downtown, the time that we were there, it was at least like $40 or $45.
Yeah.
Might have been 48 with tax, something like that, to park downtown.
And we were lucky to find that spot.
Yeah.
And we've also heard stories of people's cars
getting hit,
getting sideswiped.
We saw that too. Yep. We saw a car that it had been hit. Yep. So roads are pretty narrow. There is a parking garage you can park in, but same thing. After, I think, 2 hours or 4 hours or something like that, it goes from, I want to say like $20 up to that $40. So you're going to be spending some money. And if you times that by 3, you could spend $20 just in parking, which is very high.
We did even think about doing an Uber or a Lyft. That's an option if you didn't want to drive yourself personally and didn't want to deal with parking. It was offered. Yeah. We just didn't go that route.
Although when we looked at the prices of those, you would be spending about the same. The perk would be you wouldn't have to have your car down there.
The hassle of it.
It's like $20 down, so then you'd have to take it 20 back. So you're spending $40 either way, but at least your car wouldn't get hit.
True.
So there is a perk to staying at places. I'm guessing they probably have spots for you to park. And with you already being down there, maybe it's built into the rate so that you don't have to pay extra. But we don't really know about that. But
right.
We can go into some attractions now because that's the fun stuff.
Go for it.
The number one place I would recommend anybody to go would be the Hemingway House.
I think we all agreed on that.
It blew me away. We've been to a lot of historic homes. And after a while, a lot of them start kind of looking the same. You could say, well, yeah, this is old, great. But it was just something about that. I think the cats.
The setting. The tour that they gave was nice too. Gave some insight into who Hemingway was and the different areas of the house.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
The extra toes, though. I mean, that was so cool to see those cats with the extra toes.
Yeah, the cats were definitely the highlight of that house.
The gift shop.
Was a good gift shop.
Very good gift shop.
Got some books.
And just the stories that the tour guide had. And then being able to just to go through the house by yourself. It was awesome. I would 10 out of 10 recommend that.
Absolutely.
And for the most part, if you're just new to our channel or whatever, new to this podcast, we do have lots of videos on Key West. Like we have a separate video of the Hemingway house.
Right.
And I enjoyed editing that because I like going back and looking. It was beautiful.
It is really pretty. We got there, like you said earlier, right when it opened, and it didn't take us too long, honestly, to go through, to do the tour, and then also roam where we wanted to roam on our own. It didn't take maybe an hour and a half.
Maybe something like that, yeah.
But it wasn't too bad, so you could just spend your morning doing that.
The tour only took, though, like 20-ish minutes.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of your own pace after the tour.
Yep.
So
that was a good one.
That was good. But we did fit a lot of stuff in a day. Like because we didn't, we spend 3 days there, something like that, 2 days?
Yeah, something like that.
And we did a lot. But right after Hemingway, we did the lighthouse. And I enjoyed it. I will say I enjoyed the lighthouse, but it's not for everybody because you are up there, and if you're scared of heights like I am, it is pretty scary.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was pretty to see.
There's not a safety net or anything, and you go up a ton of spiral stairs that are one way. So when people are there, you have to hug the center, let them pass. It was pretty though, because with Florida being so flat, you can see the huge cruise ships, you can see all of Key West, the pretty water. But going back, I would say you could, I probably wouldn't just tell somebody to go there. If we were taking people with us, I'd probably say it's cool, but for now we can do something else.
It wouldn't make my top 5.
Gotcha, yeah. So
it was a good experience.
Awesome, though. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, and I think people should do it, but there are other things that if you don't have all the time in the world, it's okay not to do that.
Yeah, but it's an option at least. Now, some of the things we did, we haven't shown yet because we're going to release that in our last video, but like the southernmost point.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, it's a love-hate relationship with that little icon.
I guess. Landmark.
It took us how long? An hour?
Yeah.
Took us an hour to get a picture in front of it. I'm glad we did it. We all said we were glad we got the picture, but we would never do it again.
It was ridiculous.
It's like, I don't even know. I mean, the line's crazy.
Here's why.
Yeah.
The line was really not that terrible. It was longer than I had expected. However, looking at the line, I didn't anticipate it to take an hour. Here's why it did take an hour. Is because families would get up there, a family of 6 maybe. They would each get their picture with it. Then they would do a group picture. Then they would do a couple picture. And then they would move on. So whereas we all jumped in, had the people behind us take our picture, and skedaddled. It took 1 minute for us.
Yeah.
Whereas for other people, took 10
yeah.
minutes. So just know that looking at the line, it might not look like it would take an hour. It probably will.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know if you've ever been, I mean, you have, but if you've been to Vegas, their sign's a great spot to get a picture with. They actually have somebody out there who's just taking pictures. Well, they did at the time we went. I don't know if they're out there anymore. But at the time we went, they had somebody just out there taking photos, kind of like at Disney. Hand somebody your phone.
Person.
Here you don't. So you have to ask the people behind you if you want your whole family in there. And most people are willing to do it, but it just makes it that much longer.
Just take your picture with your family and skedaddle.
But they wanted them by themselves. They wanted them and their significant other. They wanted them and their kids, and they wanted them and the grandparents, and they wanted everything.
And maybe they're thinking, hey, we waited an hour in line for this. We're going to do all that we can while we're here.
Yeah.
I guess, but man, oh man.
I'm glad we got the picture. Would never do it again.
Yeah, agreed.
It's kind of like one and done.
Take a picture of it as I walk by
one
next
and done.
time.
Yeah. So it was crazy. It was weird to...
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, I should have, but I did not expect it to be like that. So that was one that, if you have the time and you really want it, just know to expect.
Know that it could have just been like that at Christmas. I mean, I don't know. It could have just been like that at Christmas time, but
I doubt it.
I don't know if there's an off season or not.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Whenever a hurricane's coming
That's
in,
right.
probably.
Yeah, but then
that's why people go and take pictures by it then.
The Weather Channel's in front of it at that time, so you can't do it. So, Little Truman House. Little Truman White House.
That was a top for me.
Yeah, I know you really liked that. You said that.
I really liked that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what it was, I think. I knew, I had always heard about the Hemingway house. You have to go, you have to go, you have to go. It lived up to the hype. The Little Truman House was underhyped to me, if that makes sense. It surpassed the hype that I was given.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I liked the history behind it. Just being able to walk through it. The tour guide was fantastic. He was the best one that we had down there.
I'd say that makes a difference too. I mean,
absolutely.
He was very good. And it was only about a 40-minute tour, and he wanted to talk a lot more. He's like, we got to get through this. I appreciate that they let you film, take pictures, things like that. But it was really cool to see like some of the original stuff in there, like the piano, things like that. The bar, they talked about the bar, the dining room. And I think the cool thing for me is Truman just considered himself just like a regular dude. You know, he would go out on the streets after like a poker match and ask a random person on the streets, hey, you want to come play poker with us? And you're playing with the president, all the security, everything like that. And then also the Hawaiian shirt, the fun shirts, how that became the thing to wear.
The ugly shirts and things.
And grilling food instead of having it brought to him. He wanted to go grill some hot dogs and hamburgers. I don't blame him for that. I'd be like, let's grill that. So it was neat to experience that, you know, an actual president would come down there and stay in that spot. So it was really cool. That was worth it. That's one I would say you have to do. I would add that to the list of things you for sure have to do. What else did we do? Fort Zachary, Taylor Beach. Yeah. State Park. Yes. Saw iguanas. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. I would give that one, I would tell people to go. It's cheap because it's a state park. You get your exercise, you get to walk around. The fort itself, if you've been to some forts like that, they're kind of the similar, same. Yeah. It's cool to see the history there, but really the selling point for me was the beach. The beach was awesome. We didn't stay there long. And the iguanas. That was the only place we saw the iguanas. And had we not gone there, we wouldn't have seen them. Right. Yeah. So it was I would say what you would expect a fort state park to be. Yeah, definitely. I would tell somebody, go to it, go hang out to it. We did what was that last museum that we did? The Maritime Museum, is it? The Maritime Museum. Yeah, and I don't know if we'll put it in the video or not. Well, I kind of, the video I did was one just kind of expressing my feelings of what I thought of the place right after we got done with it. And it wasn't some frustration there. Best. So I don't know if I'll actually put it into the video, but the issue with it is the workers were rude. It was expensive, and it was just about a shipwreck. But there were some cool things in there that you're not going to probably get me to. I know, yeah, you have your own feelings about it. Really, the thing that set me off is, I guess your mom went in there as we were, like, before everybody, and the workers were just saying, well, somebody just came in. I was going to go do this and this and this, but someone's here now, and now I can't do it because they showed up. And it's like, well, your job is to, like, help people who show up. So that kind of set us the wrong way. And then I was filming, and instead of them saying, hey, sorry, you can't film, the lady... And we didn't see anything. No, it doesn't say no filming or anything like that. Right. She basically turned to me and said, you got to put that away. Delete everything. Put it away. Yeah. And, like, just yelled. And I was like... I didn't know. Like, I'm not going to film if you tell me not to film. But I didn't really care for it. It's cool to see old, like, things that were on a ship, old coins and stuff like that. But for the price... Some of it was redundant, too. Yeah. It's kind of like, okay, we've seen, you know... But there were cool gems in there. There were some cool things, but I would not recommend it. Yeah. I would not recommend it. Yeah. You maybe asked the wrong person. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, I don't know. I would not go to it again. Yeah. I've done it. I don't think the rest of the family would either. I think they were like glad we did it one time, but wouldn't go back. It wasn't worth the money. If it was like maybe $10 for adults, but I want to say it was like 20 something for adults. Yeah. So it was a lot. It was pricey. What else did we do? We did the oldest house. Of restaurants. We did the oldest house in Key West.
Oh, yeah.
It
That
was
was cute.
cool.
It was a nice, quick little
Yeah.
thing to walk through, and the lady there also was very knowledgeable.
We did learn a lot about stuff from her.
Yep.
I would say it's kind of right there with the lighthouse. I could do it or I wouldn't have to do it.
Right.
But it is cool to see how old that house was and how crooked it was, because we live in a very old house too, and everything's crooked
I've been
in
looking
here.
at our ceilings. I'm like, oh, those are
Yeah.
crooked. Yeah.
So if you have time, I would say do it.
Yes.
If you don't have time, don't sweat it.
Right. Agreed.
I'm trying to go down the list because edited a bunch of videos, but we did, like you said, a lot of restaurants. The first legal rum distillery in Key West.
That tour was neat.
I would say do it because it's free.
Yes.
And kids can go on it.
Right.
You don't have to buy drinks, but you can. They give out you can get all the samples you want.
Right.
You can buy drinks, which they have like these specialty drinks. And then when you're in the actual tour, you get to try what in my mind would either be pure rubbing alcohol or hand sanitizer.
Gasoline.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
But it's the pure rum. And I mean, you put it on your hand and it's your hand's clean. There's not a germ. There's hardly any skin left after you put it on. Like it just is intense.
Harsh.
But the taste of it, you're just like, they have you just like dab your finger in it and try it because it's so strong. But it was such a cool experience. The tour guide there was also
And it was,
fantastic.
again, fairly quick.
Yeah,
That's
and
why we were
free.
able to fit in so many things to our trip, because really not many of them took all day,
Yeah, right.
which was nice.
Yeah, makes it very nice.
We walked around a few areas. We did the main, I forget what the name of that main street is, but
most popular
it
one.
has all of the restaurants and the shops and things.
I can't remember.
We did that. There's some interesting shops that I was not expecting.
That's something we should probably mention real quick because that threw us off too. The shops.
Yeah.
While you're talking about that, I just got to look up this street real quick because it's bothering me bad.
There were some it was raunchier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and what she means by that is,
Raunchy. Vulgar.
well, I was going to say, what is it called? The Adam and Eve shops?
Yeah.
Is that the brand? So like,
Yeah.
not appropriate shops at all. And it's a pure glass building right on the main street. So
Yeah.
like kids are walking by and you see everything inside. And we were kind of like, what in the
My little
world?
stepbrother walked by and this is inappropriate. We were like, yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
we
we
know.
agree. And same thing with Duval Street.
Duval. Yeah.
Same thing with like at what we noticed is until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it was pretty chill. After 5, it was crazy.
Rowdy.
There's a ton of bars and certain clubs that are just right all there that, again, not appropriate. So it kind of...
Some of them are fun to walk by, like the musicians who are playing.
Yeah, so there's...
That was a nice
there's like
atmosphere.
pub bars that are fun to go
Right.
into. Like we went to Sloppy Joe's.
Right.
That's open.
There are
I'm
some
not
other
talking about these
inappropriate. Yeah.
pubs. I'm talking about other clubs, if you will, that
Yeah.
are not...
Yeah.
Probably should be somewhere else.
That just took us by surprise. We
definitely.
really didn't know that going in. I mean, our whole family was kind of like, oh, okay, well, keep on walking.
Yeah, we were just like, what the heck? Very
But
strange.
that's just something that we learned after going down there. And no one said anything or bothered us, but it's just worth mentioning. We did walk around, though. We went into quite a few of the shops. There's plenty of souvenir shops for shirts and whatever else souvenirs you're looking for. There were some unique places that had shell shops and things like that.
I was just looking, I think as far as attraction goes, we mentioned them all.
Okay, good.
So everything else would be like restaurants, which
Right.
we'll try to be quick on this one because there's just so many places.
Well, and we
you
did
could
a
eat.
lot of the videos already.
Yeah.
So we'll just mention maybe our favorite ones. that were
Favorite
worth it.
one, I would say that I would tell everybody. You can
Yeah,
probably guess
I already
it.
know
What
because
is
it's
it?
probably my favorite one. Just because of the experience. Wait.
Go for it. What one?
writing
What
it?
one are you talking about?
Latitudes.
Oh, I forgot about Latitudes. Yeah,
We already
absolutely.
mentioned it in this video.
Yeah, I know. My mind was on a different place, but Latitudes, 100%. It is very expensive. You do need reservations. They will not even let you go to the little island it's on without a reservation.
Mm-hmm.
They ask you what your name is, make sure you're in the reservation system, and then you get on the little ferry. Would 100% recommend it. I would like to try dinner there sometime. The issue I have, though, is it is very expensive. And for 7 of us, see, Open Table only allows 6 to a group. So I had to book 6 and then call and say, can you make it 7? But breakfast was amazing.
And they did let us all.
Yeah.
They said 7 was fine.
Yeah. We got to sit outside right there by the beautiful water. It was one of the best
got to go
dining
on the boat,
experiences.
So that way, if you didn't, we really wanted to do dry tortugas. We'll mention that really quickly, but it was way booked out.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to do either they had a ferry, right, to get there.
Yeah.
And then the only other way to get there is like by private boat.
Or seaplane.
Like, and we don't have that kind of money.
We could fly to England cheaper than the seaplane to dry tortugas.
So that just didn't happen this trip. It will be in our future sometime when we go back. But the Latitudes opportunity allowed us to go out on a boat, which was neat. And you go right underneath the stern keel.
I'm just going to say right under the boat, man. You go right around the front of the bow.
The bow.
Yeah.
The bow? The stern, the keel,
I
just know all the words. I don't know what they mean.
Yeah. Oops. We're going to get comments on that one.
I'm not a mariner.
The front of the boat, which I think is the bow.
Was it the front or was it the back?
It was the front.
Okay.
It was that, yeah. And it's cool to look up and see what the
huge
boat looks like. If you've never seen a cruise ship before, it's just unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Now I'm curious.
But what, I was sitting there looking at you like that meme.
The bow.
Okay.
We got it.
There you go. I was sitting there looking at you like that meme of the guy that's like this, and it's got like math figures all around because I was so confused. What's your restaurant?
Oh, well, are we done with Latitudes?
Yeah.
Loved it. I would highly recommend.
Go to breakfast if dinner's not in your budget.
I got key lime French toast with a personalized logo butter of Latitudes on it. Like, that's how awesome it was. Mm-hmm. But my restaurant that I was thinking is just like anybody can go to, would highly recommend, is the Seaside Cafe at the Mansion.
Yes, I knew I was forgetting one.
That was like our favorite one.
Yep.
They had by far probably the best pizza we've had in Florida.
Ever.
It's their famous.
Not just in Florida, ever.
Famous. I said famous. It's their famous lobster pizza.
Oh my gosh.
I would eat it right now, and I'm not even hungry. If somebody put it right in front of me, I would eat it.
Yeah, I would want a whole one to myself.
Yeah. The only thing for me, this is just a side note, that would probably top it is the old Domino's double melt pizza. And I have reached out to them multiple times via email, social media.
So if someone from Domino's is watching this right now, or you know somebody that works at Domino's, can you please put in a word? Because it's at least 3-4 times a year the double melt gets brought up.
The weird thing is they do serve them in Afghanistan.
It's like the only place.
Yeah. I'm not going to fly over there to grab it in Afghanistan. Right. But if you are making it over there, can you just bring them back? That is my all-time favorite pizza. If you know how to make one, send us the recipe, because she's cooking all the time now, so let's do it. But anyway, that's a side note. This pizza, fantastic. You're sitting right on the water. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's an old mansion. This is one place I could not get a reservation at.
We didn't even go in the mansion.
No, because the mansion is like a
hotel?
Yeah, it's like a bed and breakfast. It's its own thing, so we didn't bother going in there. But we could not get a reservation here. They didn't allow it. So we recommend showing up right when it opened. We had no issue getting 7 of us seated by the water. Beautiful. Highly, highly, highly would recommend that.
Yeah. Oh, the fries.
Their fries were
truffle fries.
Yeah, very good.
Delicious.
Just going through this, we did do the original Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. I probably wouldn't go back. It is very cool to say that you've been to the original one, though. And if anybody likes Margaritavilles, it's worth a stop. But now that we've done it, I don't think that would be something.
It's the same food.
Yeah,
so
it's exactly
not like
the other restaurants.
You're getting anything different. Yeah. It's just the fact of being able to say, well, this was the first one. So that was okay.
Concrete Public Seafood.
That was a good one.
That was good. I think your family, they stayed an extra day. We had to come back. They went back to it. But that one was
good. It was a big restaurant in a good location.
Yeah.
And a good variety of food.
Yeah.
So it's a good place to go.
Sloppy Joe's. Not my favorite Sloppy Joe's.
No.
You just got the sandwich with your Sloppy Joe, and I thought
I was kind of disappointed. We usually get chips, and there were no chips.
Yeah. You need to do your face to the camera. You're like, what? But I mean, I prefer the one in Treasure Island.
Yeah.
And that's like our go-to. We need to try the one in Orlando, but I probably wouldn't go to Sloppy Joe's back down there.
I will say one reason I am glad that we went to the one down there is because it tied in with Hemingway.
That's true. All of our stuff tied in.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
So that would be one reason why. And it did look like a good, if you're into the bar scene, it was always really busy. They had fun music playing when we were there. So it was a good time. But yes, I do prefer the Treasure Island one.
What was his name? We got to hear the
I can't remember.
Singer. I can't remember his name. No. Let's see. So really, it looks like the only one that we have left is the Blue Heaven. Blue Heaven. The key lime pie was probably my favorite at that place. Because it was the meringue on it.
Hey, the chicken next door. Sorry.
Oh, the meringue on it was, it was like the lemon meringue pie, but key lime instead.
Yeah.
It was really good. The grilled cheese tomato sandwich was amazing. The mix-up, though, we had there was it did take a little while because we couldn't get a reservation for that one either, but they put your number down and they text you when it's time or whatever. I heard breakfast is amazing there. We just didn't get out for breakfast, but once you got seated and stuff, though, we said no to the lobster grilled cheese, which we wanted, but because that thing was like $30. And so we're like, no, we're good. Well, she ended up accidentally bringing everybody the lobster one, and it had already taken a while. And so we said, like, if you're just going to throw it away, we'll eat it instead. But they go, yeah, but if I give it to you, we're going to charge you $30. So it was just kind of like, all right, well, then we're not going to do that.
Take
so
it back and bring us
I guess throw it away and then bring us the original one, but remake it. So that kind of was a downer, that situation. But I will say, when we tried the sandwich, we were like, wow, this is actually, and you don't even like tomatoes.
Right.
And it was amazing.
She did bring out, though, the key lime pie for free.
Yeah. So that they made up for that.
Yeah.
That one, I would probably say, let's go back and go for breakfast is what I would say.
Yeah.
And try it out.
If not, I wouldn't be sad if we didn't go back.
Fair. That's fair. And
there were a lot of restaurants down there.
There's another one, I can't remember the name of it, that was suggested, but we didn't get a chance to go to it. But out of all restaurants, I would say Seaside Cafe and Latitudes would be the top two I would recommend.
Agreed.
Going down there.
Yep.
And
Food was great at both, and the setting was great at both.
That's right. And then I guess the last thing we could talk about, because I know the video is already, like 30-ish minutes, is the outside, just part of the Keys, not necessarily Key West, but just part of the Key.
I was going to mention the chickens.
Oh, chickens and roosters everywhere.
Loved seeing the chickens everywhere.
That was really cool. It really was. They're everywhere. I got pooed on by said chicken. And I don't know if that's in the filming or not. I'd have to go back. But
I don't think it was. I think it was late in the evening, and I think it was the first night we were there.
Just to reiterate, I got pooed on by a chicken. And their poo is white. And slimy and disgusting. And that was one of the worst nights experiences.
It was so gross, but so funny.
And
we were walking in like this little, it was over by, what's that place called? Sunset?
No, Mallory Square.
Mallory Square, that's it. And there's like a little area that has a bunch of busts, like statue heads. And we were walking through there, and there's trees, and it was dark outside. We were getting ready to walk back to our car, and Alex is over in one corner of the little garden area. And I don't know, I can
give you a rundown. I can give you a full rundown because it happened right to me. I was there. I know what happened.
Go
I
ahead.
was walking, and I think I was filming, and I felt something hit my back of my neck and like dribbled down into my shirt. And I was like, is it raining? It must have been, like when you get a drop that just hits you just right, and you're like, oh. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So I kind of, if you're watching the video, you can see I kind of like scraped the back of my neck, and was like, weird. And after I scraped it, it didn't go away. It smeared. And I was like, wait a minute. What the heck is this? So I did it again, and I saw some kind of white stuff on my fingers, and I said, I think a bird just pooed on me. And I turned to you and I said,
my stepbrother was over there with you.
He went, ha ha, you got pooed on. But my issue was, I had just bought a nice new jacket to go down there, and if you don't know me well, I hate getting stuff on my clothes, on my shorts.
We have a Tide to Go pen. We have Dawn dish soap. We have Shout spray.
Everything. And I was like, Timber did something. I think something pooed on me. And sure enough, she said, yeah. And that's when stepbrother just went nuts at laughing.
He was laughing. We all were laughing.
And
so
it was
hard.
gross. Like everything was, I don't even know if there was a restroom. I had nothing. I had
Kleenexes in my
it was just smearing
bag.
and there was just white all
And
over
hand
my
sanitizer, so I tried to wipe it off the best I could. But looking up, you were under a tree, and the chickens had gone to roost up in the tree.
They got to the bathroom up in the tree is what they did. They were laughing too. They said, "Here comes a target." Oh, it was rough. That was.
But of all people for it to happen to, it was just perfect
my luck, right?
that it happened to you. It was so funny.
But
hey, it's good luck if a bird poops on you. So I've been told.
Well, I don't know.
But
I will say something else. Mallory Square. So Mallory Square is very busy. Always busy. They have the best sunsets, which in our video we will show. They do have amazing sunsets. Issue is there's thousands of people. Luckily, I'm tall, so I was able to raise my hand up and get a good video of it.
I mean, we got there an hour early.
Just people waiting everywhere.
Oh my gosh. And us normal sized people, we didn't stand a chance, so we kind of just went and sat back.
But you know how the sun comes down to the horizon? Boats were driving in front of it to try to, and you were kind of like move out of the way. And then some dude on one of those little like flying water jetpack things was just over at the side going nuts. And his dog, I'm not making this up. I think I filmed it. His dog was driving the jet ski.
It was kind of a chaotic area, to be completely honest.
I'd wipe my eyes and say, I get pooed on by a rooster. We go over to Mallory Square where there's thousands of people and boats are covering the sunset. People are going nuts. And a dude is floating with water and his dog is driving the jet ski.
Meanwhile, there's some shirtless guy twisting himself through some little weird ring thing.
No, it was a tennis racket without the strings.
Yeah.
And he like pops his arm out of place, sucks himself into it.
It was odd. It was very overstimulating.
I was kind of like, what is going on here? But it's a must. You got to go down to Mallory Square one time. Check it out.
We definitely
maybe wear
sold
like a garden sun hat thing so that'll protect you from the poo. And then, I don't know, just wear glasses so that if you're staring at people, it don't look like you're staring at people. I don't know. It doesn't look like, I said don't look like it. It doesn't look like you're staring at people, I guess. I don't know. It was strange. We did it one time. That was a one and done, but you were there laughing. But that was that.
Not my favorite spot.
No. Okay.
But I bet the sunsets are beautiful.
Sunset was beautiful. Watch the video because I will put it in the video. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Lastly, I will say, because now we're about 35, 40 minutes in, is
you don't have to keep track. If people want to listen, they'll listen.
Let's just go 2 hours.
Okay. If
we're
they
here
want
for
to,
2 hours.
They want to. I'm not holding anybody hostage.
But really, the last thing to summarize it is we did stuff before we went to Key West. We did things like in the Keys, and a couple things we did. The Bohia Honda State.
No. Alex has really some troubles with vowels.
Just so you know, too, when we were in Key West, I kept saying the Key West. And in a lot of the videos, I had to redo the intro because I'd be like, oh, we're in the Key West today. And Tim would be like, it's just Key West. And in my mind, I was thinking we're in the Keys. So I would say we're in the Key West. So we're in the Key West at Bohia Honda.
We really need to start like keeping the blooper. Yeah, we need to start keeping a blooper reel, though.
Yeah.
Bahia Honda.
Yeah, no one has time for that.
Yeah.
Bahia Honda State Park. That was really awesome. State Park, so it was, I don't know, like $8 to get in. Mm-hmm. Beautiful water, beautiful spot to camp. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't good that day for us, but it was cloudy and cold and windy. But other than that, would highly recommend checking it out.
And even if you're on your way to Key West.
The Key West.
It's a good place to just get off of the long stretch of road and stretch your legs.
Yep. Another place we stopped at was the Biggest Lobster, Betsy. That was cool because they had a ton of souvenirs. So if you're looking for a souvenir shop, go for it. It's not really a pit stop for restrooms though, because they were like porta potties. And really, I would only stop there to grab a photo and leave probably because it was cool to see the massive lobster. But other than that, it was all right.
I would have kept driving.
You would have kept driving, yep. And then something else worth mentioning is the road to Key West, the road to the Keys it is basically like you're just on a road, like just straight. We were getting like 38 miles to the gallon in a Ford Explorer because it's just straight. But there's really not a place to pull off or anything. It's just straight. And then when you finally get to the Keys and you're going to go to the Key West, I need to quit doing that because I'm going to be talking in public and say, yeah, we went to the Key West and it was great. But it's still a long haul. You get there and it's like, oh, we still have like 2 hours to drive on this. And it's more of like a populated place. So you have places you can pull off and eat and all that. But water's very beautiful. We think we saw a shark.
I'm certain I saw a shark.
Certain we saw a shark. It was definitely not a dolphin, and the fin was up in the water the whole time. It was definitely a shark.
And it was going like this.
If you have watched True Lies before, at the end of that movie, they're on a big long bridge, and that scene was actually filmed on that. It's a 7 Mile Bridge. Is that what it's called? I think, or something like that.
Sounds right.
So that was cool. But outside of that, all that road in South Florida, like before you cross over, is a place called Robert is Here. Yes. And that is totally worth a stop. The best mango I've ever had. Robert was very knowledgeable. We did a video about it. Just a little place off the road.
Little farm stand, not little, but
big farm stand thing. Super cool to see.
Really cool spot. Fruits I'd never heard of in my entire life.
I still can't say them. But what was that banana one?
I have no idea. I really couldn't even tell you. It was great, though.
It was great.
Great experience.
Yeah. But overall, I'd say to wrap this up, as far as lodging goes, can't really help you out there. If you are part of the military, would highly recommend staying in the naval. There's several naval places down there. If you have a lot of money, would highly recommend you staying
at a resort downtown.
Downtown. If you're looking for attractions, the top 2 attractions, I would say Hemingway's and the Truman White House would be the top 2 attractions we'd say to book in there. Yep. As far as food goes, Latitudes for sure, and Seaside Cafe at the Mansion, whatever it's called. I think that's what it's called, Seaside Cafe at the Mansion. We did stop at like little couple coffee places here and there. It was your typical coffee. I can't remember what the one was called.
Black Rifle.
Black Rifle. Good. Yeah, that was cool to go in. Yep. I think
it was a good trip.
Shops, you can go anywhere. We did stop and see the
at your own risk
0 mile marker.
Oh yeah. We've been to, what other one have we been to in Chicago? The start of Route 66.
Yeah, the 0 mile marker goes all the way up to, like, that highway goes all the way up to Maine. I think they said it's the longest north-south highway in the United States, and we were at the 0 mile marker. Look at that. That'll be in the video too, because I filmed some of that.
With millions of other people that have been there before.
That's right.
Anyway, it was a good trip. We went for about 3 days. I think that was plenty.
Yep.
We'll probably go back down sometime.
Perfect
and try
weather.
Some different things. Perfect
75
weather.
All day, every day.
Yep.
Perfect. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this podcast of Key West. We will have some more podcasts coming up. One, we'll probably talk about Savannah just because we did spend a lot of time there. We do have a trip coming up pretty soon. And we would like to say we plan on going to Washington, D.C. for the first time. And we would love for you guys to give us suggestions. Either go to our website and fill out a suggestion form, Facebook us, Instagram us, comment on the YouTube video, whatever you can do, and throw out some suggestions of places we should eat in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, we already know his dad has been there multiple times.
Yeah.
And they're going with us, so they have some things that we already have planned, but restaurants would be really helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So please let us know, because it helped us in Key West. We appreciate everybody that reached out to us and told us what we should do. And I think that's going to wrap it up for podcast number 4. So
sounds good.
Hopefully that was a fun,
it was a success,
fun one for you to listen to and help you out if you are going to Key West.
If not, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. So, with that being said, that does it for today. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.